My name is Jon Eggins. I'm the head of portfolio management here and a 23-year Russell lifer. Began as an intern. Our goal in these podcasts is to talk with some of the world's best investment talent, the money managers we use in our portfolios, and the investment experts inside of the house at Russell Investments to show how we work tirelessly every day to build financial security for people. So today, I want to introduce Evgenia. I never say your last name out loud. Evgenia
Gvozdeva.
Gvozdeva. Thank you. I've gone almost 20 years without having to say that out loud. And Evgenia is our global head of research and is the absolute perfect person to have as our first podcast guest. Evgenia, first of all, you and I have spent almost half our lives at Russell. We've both grown up here, and so I want to talk through some of the war stories of things we've worked on over the years together. But also, probably more importantly, our goal in this series of podcasts is we're going to be talking to our internal investment experts, but also really focusing on our external money managers. And you head up research. So Evgenia is our global head of research. She runs R&D, manager research, quantitative research. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to start with is the podcast series is called Without Boundaries. And I guess you and I both have burst through a few boundaries or borders in our life as well. So when people read your resume, you started your life in Russia. So I want to start there. Like, what was your childhood like, and how did that sort of eventually land you in the US? We'll come to Russell later.
That's a good question to start with. I'm a child of perestroika, so obviously lived a little bit under the Iron Curtain shadow. But I think what perestroika was for me is not necessarily a political shift. It was more around thinking beyond the boundaries and reimagining things and understanding that it's possible to live and learn and behave in a completely different way. So to me, it was that. Of course, all the materials were outdated, and I'm a mathematician by training, but I was considering becoming an economist, right? And I had early access to the professors at the Department of Economics, and I asked them, so should I join the department now? And they're like, no, like all the textbooks will be rewritten, so it's not a good time. Go and apply to the Department of Mathematics. It will serve you for life. And they were right.
Because that wasn't changing.
No, that wasn't changing. And my dad graduated from the Department of Mathematics as well, so that made a lot of sense for me to go there. And then I think the other aspect of it is I grew up in the family of engineers, right, with a strong belief that the education can be a passport to a better life. And I'm so grateful that my parents kind of instilled that in me, and it really turned out to be the right choice for me.
Okay, so let's come back to that in a little bit. We kind of jumped there though. So study mathematics. How did you land in the US?
Yeah, that's a good story too. So when I was at the Department of Mathematics, my focus was, believe it or not, AI. Okay, and at the time, it wasn't popular. It was very boring theoretical models, and I got discouraged because there was no computational power to actually apply the algorithm. We had the algorithm, we didn't have the horsepower, right, to make it live. So I decided to start shifting to finance, and the 2 last years of my studying there, I was modeling, like I was doing economic modeling essentially. And then I joined the department there, the research department, and I was doing fundamental research, like building the discount cash flow models for a couple of bank stocks out there in the Russian market. But then my husband decided that it's time to go and do PhD. So I joined him. We came to Texas together to pursue our PhDs. And, I think it was a great investment of time. Like, I really appreciate that I had time to focus on the concepts, but my heart was always in the industry.
Yeah.
Especially given that earlier experience that I have in Russia, and I wanted to come back to the industry, and that's what I did with Russell.
So you came straight to Russell after the PhD program.
Pretty much, and it's an interesting story as well because I was trying to find a job at the time of the global financial crisis, right? That's when I graduated, and I was trying to connect with some of the people here in the industry, but like most of the companies were not really hiring at the time. So another path for me was academia. So I started the interview process with the Pacific Lutheran University here in the state, and as the dean of the department was taking me to the dinner, he showed me Russell Investments. And to be honest, I haven't been considering Russell because it wasn't in Seattle. My husband and I live closer to Seattle. It was in Tacoma. Well, that made me look on the website and find an opportunity for myself. And I interviewed, and I was hired as the forecasting portfolio strategist, thanks to my math background mostly at the time.
Okay, and that was in 2009.
Yes.
So so you and I landed here not too differently. Yeah, I was right in the middle of the financial crisis in 2008 from the Sydney office, and you had just arrived. There's quite a connection with PLU and Russell Investments as well. Was it anyone people will know? Anyone famous?
No, I mean, but all the stories that I heard when I was going through the interview process, like how helpful Russell was and how come and spend time with the students and teach, and that was great.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of past luminaries we'll talk about in a moment who've come through that program. Before we move on, I wanted to talk a little bit about your journey at Russell to your current role. So you and I have spent time on some of these big initiatives that Russell's done over the years, EPI, some of the internal strategies we have in our portfolios. They weren't there in 2009. What are some of the most fun, but also some of the most challenging projects you've led in the times leading up to your current role?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like I joined as the forecasting portfolio strategist. I still believe this is the most complicated modeling that we are doing here at Russell. So it was challenging to work to stand up the models and work with the team so that we have, kind of a robust way to calibrate to make sure that it can go into our asset allocation studies and asset liability studies. So I still consider it to be the most difficult job here at Russell.
And this is the asset allocation work that's like the forecasting work that drives our strategic asset allocation.
The capital market assumption, type of work. It's just like there are stochastic models behind it, and you really need to understand the math and how it all works together to make it reasonable and useful. But I always wanted to be closer to money, so that's why I shifted from the capital markets work more to the quant work, traditional quant work, and that was an exciting time building the factor strategies here in house and standing on the databases that we can use and we still use right at this point in time. So that was an exciting part because of the kind of a little bit limitless research, like building something that has never existed before, like dynamic positioning models included. So I always kind of feel good about at that time. But I think that the role that I'm in right now is pretty much the culmination of this whole research work, and we can talk about like what manager research means for this company. But I'm really enjoying what I'm doing right now as well.
So if you think about Russell Investments, the crown jewel, the thing that people know about us, how we really started with George Russell running around researching money managers, it's our manager research heritage. Some of the most sort of impactful people at the organization have led this operation, the manager research operation. I think we still make people read Duncan Smith's tome when they join the manager research organization. We can ask you about that. So the first thing I wanted to share or get your perspective on is what does it mean to you to be the leader now of what is really our most famous franchise, manager research?
Yeah, like it's a lot of pressure. But at the same time, like I always remember like when I joined Russell and then when I was on the quant side and the capital markets research side, like manager research was always there like a North Star. You observe it and you respect it, and like it was always interesting for me to see how it is. And as you start working your own investment work from the strategist perspective, you're just fascinated by all the minds that are behind the money here in the industry. And this is the best job that you can have at Russell because you have access to these people. You can challenge yourself. You can challenge them from time to time as well. And like it really satisfies your intellectual curiosity. So like from the scope perspective and the interest perspective, I think it's the most interesting job. But as I said, like there is a lot of pressure because there was a colleague and she worked for Russell for a very long time. And when I took the role, she said it's a very important and like special position and you really need to leave a mark. So I took it very seriously, and like close to my heart. And like I tried to think like, what can I bring to the table, right? Like, because it's a well-tested process. Russell basically pioneered manager research, so it's very well respected in the industry. So for me, it was more of this quant approach and the passion about technology that I have, where I'm spending the most time. And the goal here is not to change the DNA of the manager research at Russell, but more like evolve and amplify it, amplify all the insights that we gained over the years.
It's a good lead into like, what are you focused on today? Because yeah, you didn't have a traditional manager research background, but the focus you've brought to the team has been different and linked to your quantitative background and to the technology side of things that you brought to the team. So I'd love to hear. So keeping the heritage of our manager research expertise is so important. What are you doing? What are you focused on to sort of bring that into the future while also not losing who we are on that?
Yeah, it's super important because if I like with the data background, of course, like many of the decisions that I'm making are data driven, right?
Yeah.
Like that's my bias. And I really need to understand, and that's what I spend a lot of time at the beginning is like, what do we bring in from the qualitative perspective? What does the data not show? And the things are like culture, obviously, the team dynamics, asking a question in such a way that, it makes manager research, sorry, makes our managers pivot, and like kind of respond, especially in the times when there is market volatility or shifts, like how they adopt, how they behave like some of these things it's not possible to do with the data, so trying to find this right balance between qualitative and quantitative, almost like your right and left brain and how your brain works together, is super important to me because I don't want to to overdo. But I'm so excited about technology because like I'm a Gen X. Are you a Gen X?
So it depends when you draw the line. I was born in 1981.
Okay.
So
But the way I think about it is like we are the generation that live without the internet.
yeah.
And like we're old enough to know that, but we're also young enough to see where it can take us.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about the new technology and what it brings to the table. Almost like a kid in a candy store with a credit card. And um, there are obviously the pitfalls and other things that we need to consider to do it like carefully and ethically. But at the same time, it can enhance what the research is doing right now from multiple different perspectives. Think about extraction and summarization of the insights. Think about coding really fast, replicating the papers, and then finally, I'd say it's around like knowledge sharing and making it very easy to interact within the teams, right? So all of that is super important, and it can be done right now. It can enhance our processes quite substantially.
Your point about the Gen X millennial thing really hits me because you also said earlier that you had studied AI, but we weren't ready yet. Let's dive on some specific examples of things you've implemented on the team. I'm thinking of, we love our acronyms here. So the first one I'm thinking of is the MRP tool. I know I have an accent, MRNP. What is that, and what's it meant to do? How does it sort of take advantage of the technology while keeping our heritage on manager research?
Yeah, so the MRP is our manager research portal, and that is the way we deliver the research content to our clients. The work that we did on the equity side last year allowed us to give even more insight to our clients, and we developed a set of reports that are supporting every single step of the manager research process from discovery to monitoring. And as the part of that exercise, AI was integrated in a few places there as well. So what the clients will be consuming once the technology is ready to distribute it is the new way of new reports, essentially, with a lot more information, with some of the AI embedded into that. And the other piece is as we collect the manager reports, right, like through emails or through other channels that they distribute the reports with us, through we can actually analyze it in real time, and we can share some of that information with clients who are using those managers as well. So it's not only bringing together the quantitative analysis and then bringing in our qualitative insight through the meeting notes or through the assessments that our manager research analysts put together. It's also trying to learn from the huge community of the managers that we have, synthesize that insight and deliver to the clients as well. So MRP will have all of that available, and clients will be able to see some of the things as they log into the portal.
Okay, and then inside of Russell, for the research team, one of the things that was exciting for me to see over the last year or so is we have this long history of manager research notes and the research analysts meeting the managers, writing those up, dividing their views into what we call disaggregated ranks, the different components. And I think you and the team built a series of screening tools to help identify managers we might be missing, to help look for early warning signs with managers. Can you maybe talk about what the goal was there and how that sort of has enhanced the manager research process, and both in I think equities and now soon to be fixed income, right?
Yeah, like it's meant to be the helping tool for discovery, right?
Yeah.
There are so many strategies out there, and like on the equity side, we have access to around 10,000 managers and their data points. So we started with the quantitative aspects and like creating that quant manager screen that allows you to like almost forecast like what could be the outcome for this particular manager. We don't want to oversell it because it's just the like found like just the basic step,
Okay.
the first step for the analysts. But as I said, like right now, it's mostly quantitative data and the characteristics that we are calculating. My goal is to go and use all the notes as well and extract the signal from the unstructured data that we have, like that we have history like for decades, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of the notes written. So I think like I can find something there that we can use in that screen as well as we do the evaluation of the manager, right? Like maybe using their pitch books or using some of other materials that we're getting from them at the initial stage. We haven't done the history yet, but we are already successful with doing cross-sectional work where every quarter we are receiving the reports from our managers, how they are positioned, what they're worried about, concerns, like any other opportunities they're seeing in the market. And for through our active manager report, we can actually synthesize all of that and share with the audiences too, not just focusing on a set of managers that we prefer and like the having the full universe of managers covered. I think it's pretty powerful. It helps us with the grounding and like our understanding of the shifts in the market as well.
Yeah, yeah. On the portfolio management side, this has been really valuable for us. It helps how we structure the portfolios. It helps with the bench of managers that are out there if we need to make a manager switch. I think it's also helping with a lot of clients who are working with us in a way where they're using pieces of our technology for portfolio construction, for example, and some of these manager research insights as well. So yeah, no, that's been really a really exciting body of work for me to see from the sidelines. I think the other thing I wanted to get your take on is over the next year or so, what are the big initiatives that you're trying to drive for the research team?
Yeah, the way I'm thinking about it is on the equity side, I finished the automation work, right? And honestly, there it's more about enhancements. The work that we are doing right now to disentangle the skill set of the managers, right? Understanding a little bit more about portfolio construction versus security selection and enhance our quantitative findings and then the quantitative manager screen as well. So this is on the equity side. On the fixed income side, we are automating right now. Like obviously on the fixed income side, that there is a lot more challenge with the data. So that's a bigger piece of what we are trying to achieve there through collection of the data characteristics and holdings from our managers. And then building out the same type of process, like with the reports underneath it, all the way from discovery to monitoring. And next year, I'll be focusing on hedge funds and working with the private team as well to create a consistent output that our clients can get access to, no matter what asset class they're looking at.
I have been wondering, you you have a family, you have a team of 60 or more people that you're managing.
Yeah.
Um, but you've also been kind of the standard bearer, not just for the investment division, but for the whole company on how to integrate AI into our processes. So first, how do you do all of that? And don't say coding till midnight, unless that's the real answer.
Fun fact. Like I mean, being a mom and as being a dad, like makes us very makes us think about time.
Yeah.
Really think about time, and like for me, the efficiency is number one priority because I want to spend quality time with my kids. I want to have one-on-ones with my team. So part of my career is trying to cut the corners in a very thoughtful way.
Yeah.
Right. And like I almost tell my team to do the same. So like sometimes, people who join the industry, they want to do everything in a perfect way and they feel like that's the standard, right? But in reality, like as you gain experience, you can always find tools and ways to do it more efficiently. So just taking that into consideration every step of the way And the other one, from AI perspective, it's important to be to make it a part of the workflow and not have it in an ad hoc standalone tool, because like people have habits, right? And they have biases, and like it's very hard to introduce that change.
Yeah.
Like especially for the grown-ups. So making it easy for them to use the tools is a very important part of the integration of the AI solutions as well.
You've mentioned your family a lot, but how do you personally decompress and relieve stress?
I breathe. Like and like when there is intensity for sure, I'll take a pause and I'll try to breathe. I like to watch shows, like in Netflix shows, Max shows, things like that. I like to take walks with my kids, hiking on the weekend, do a little bit of the gardening work, and you'll find it surprising, but cleaning the house can be pretty therapeutic so as well. So sometimes I enjoy that.
You did tell me that was all Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it's somehow you switch and it makes you feel relaxed. And then on the other side, it was like, oh, not on the other side, but in addition to that, um, is like holiday time, right? Like I try to travel with my family as much as possible, or like enjoy simple things as well, like making a puzzle or something like that.
I know we both like skiing. Is that one of the big fun activities your family likes to do?
Yes,
Yeah.
we love to ski as a family. Like being here in the Pacific Northwest is the perfect place for us. Like we travel to Canada, we travel to the local resorts, and it's the best way to distract your teenager from the iPad or from the iPhone as well. So I really cherish this time with them.
The other thing I wanted to make sure I got to was talk about watching shows, but what about reading? Is it just academic journals?
No, like I mean, I try to read as much as I can. Like honestly, more of the audiobooks these days. But I think the last book that I was reading was about kids. It's called The Most Important Book for Parents. And I'm interested because my kids are so different, and I'm trying to raise them the same way. So it's like we changed. My husband and I, we got older, obviously, and a little bit more busy, maybe. But I'm trying to understand still what I can do, like to communicate better with them, especially with the teenage son now. Trying to crack the code a little bit, and I'm trying to have the conversations with them like as an adult and like as their adults as well. But sometimes I'm challenging myself and trying to figure out whether it's the best approach or not. So that's a good book of parenting.
Was it before or after that when you went to your first rap concert?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, yeah, I'm like in general, it was interesting. I was never into rap, so I like rock. I like 90s dance hits. I like indie. But my son really started enjoying listening to rap music, so I had to go to the first rap concert with him, and like that connected us quite nicely. It really like got me some visibility into his world.
And Evgenia, thank you so much for today. I think you've broken through more boundaries than any of us. We started in Cold War Russia, we went through Perestroika, and you end up at a rap concert. And in the meantime, you continue to lead into the future the team that drives the heart and soul of Russell, which is our manager research operations. So thank you so much for your time. This is all about finding and identifying the world's best money managers to use in our portfolios. And I hope everyone got to get a sense for what it takes to get through the gauntlet of our manager research program, and how we're bringing that program into the future to make sure that the best money managers combined in the best possible ways make their way into our client portfolios. So thank you very much, Evgenia. That's it for today. For more great investing ideas, please go to our website, russellinvestments.com, for additional content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also keep in touch with us all on LinkedIn. And remember, everyone, I'm going to call you all remember mates, both investing, personal lives, keep stretching, breaking your limits, and breaking through boundaries. Well, mate, that's our show for today. Remember, in your personal life and your investing life, keep breaking boundaries.
This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. The content provided within the podcast should not be construed as investment advice, research, or a recommendation, solicitation, or offer for any specific Russell investment or other product, strategy, security, or service. The information does not take into account the investment objectives or circumstances of any particular investor and may not be appropriate for all investors. All investments carry a level of risk and do not typically grow at an even rate of return and could experience negative growth. Any past performance results should not be seen as a guide to future returns. All opinions presented are as of the date of the recording and subject to change without notice. Information contained within the podcast is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but not guaranteed. Reliance upon the information provided in the podcast is at the sole discretion of the listener. The general information contained in this publication should not be acted upon without obtaining investment advice from a licensed professional. This podcast may involve discussions with non-Russell Investments personnel. The views and opinions expressed by non-affiliated personnel in this podcast are those of the speakers and do not reflect the policy or position of Russell Investments or its affiliates. This content should not be construed as a recommendation or endorsements of any third-party manager featured on the podcast. Some of the portfolio managers or firms featured in this podcast may manage funds or accounts that are offered by Russell Investments, and they may have business relationships with Russell Investments or its affiliates. Neither Russell Investments nor any of its staff accepts any responsibility for or liability with respect to the information or opinions contained in this publication. In EMEA, this content is suitable for professional clients only. Capital at risk. Copyright 1995 to 2025 Russell Investments Group LLC, all rights reserved.